Hey there, y'all. So today what we have is a Brine Clutch 3X, although this is probably one of the more narrow 3Xs that I've seen, and it's been used. And what we're going to do with it today is we have some Jimalax soft orange mesh, and we're going to get a little Syracuse combination going here. And we're actually going to go ahead and use a triangle top string. So I haven't strung one of these in a little while. To me, there really isn't too much of an advantage to a triangle top string versus a traditional top string. You do get to add an extra color to your top string, which kind of adds a little bit more flair to it. And today's kind of a little bit of a flare stick. So what we're going to be doing today is, like I said, we have this soft mesh. Now, I was inspecting this soft mesh before the video, and it had been a little bit of a while since I've been stringing with soft mesh, and I remembered that there is a more textured feel, okay, to one side of the mesh than the other. All right, so we're gonna want the more textured side to be on the inside, so that way it really grips the ball, grips the rubber. Okay, so, and we're gonna be stringing this with a 9-diamond top for our triangle top string. And the first step to that is going to be lacing through the first string of the top string. And so we're gonna go ahead and use this royal blue, using our infinity knot or our figure 8 knot right here. And what we're gonna do, and since this is soft mesh, getting it to stretch out as much as possible, we really are gonna have to put a little bit of torque and a little bit of muscle in this. And we really do want to try and create, the most definition as possible through the stretching of the mesh from the scoop on down. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm stretching the mesh right here to see what this diamond will look like if we try and anchor it to this third sidewall hole down, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So we're going to go from the outside in, trying to get better for y'all at filming this. Going back in through the outside of that sidewall hole to the inside again, through the front of the mesh, and back out that same diamond. And this is our traditional anchor method for really securing that mesh down nice and strong and sturdy. All right. And so this first part is actually pretty quick and easy. We're going to utilize this second diamond in our 9-diamond row. We're going to go through this first top hole from the back of the scoop through the front of the scoop, and then through the front of the mesh out through the back right here. And we are going to go ahead and center that right in the middle of that mesh diamond. So nice and tight, and it might fight you a little bit. So you want to try and center it as much as possible right here, as y'all can see that, okay? And so from there, we are going to skip a diamond. We're going to skip a top hole. We're going to move on to our 4th diamond, okay? Going from the back of the top hole scoop through the front of it, through the front of our mesh and out through the back. And then we should be looking loosely like so. And you'll notice that I'm keeping tension on this blue string and putting it right in the center again. Our 5th diamond, we're not going to touch it for right now. Moving on to our 6th diamond, same method, back of the scoop, out through the front of the mesh, out through the back, coming through just like so. Keeping everything nice and tight. Really trying to make sure that everything is as tight as possible. So this is what we're looking like so far. You'll notice that our mesh diamonds line up really, really well with our top string holes. And we're gonna go ahead and do this one more time. So we're gonna skip that 7th diamond. We're gonna work the 8th diamond, going in from the back of the scoop, top hole string, out through the front, and then from the front of the mesh, out through the back, like we've been doing. Keeping everything nice and tight. Starting to pull, keeping that tension down. You can always string this on a shaft as well. I like the freedom of being able to move the head up and down in all sorts of different ways without, you know, a 3-foot shaft going all over the place. So, and then from here, all we're gonna do is go through the back of our mesh, out through the front. We're gonna go through our 3rd sidewall hole from the inside out. We're gonna wrap it around that sidewall and then come back through the back of the mesh, through the front of it, one more time. And then from the inside out of that 3rd sidewall hole again. And these are some fat strings that I'm working with right here, so I gotta clear a little bit of space. It's making me work for it, y'all. Work our little trick right here where we pull through. We didn't get a lot of love on that one that time. So we're nice and tight. We're anchoring down. I'm gonna pull. So this is part 1 of our triangle top string is done. Not too hard. Finishing it off with our basic knot. So here we are. Looking pretty clean. Nothing too aggressive. All right, now we're gonna come in with our 2nd string, our white string. I'm gonna go ahead and clip this extra real quick, leaving enough to where if I do have to go back and tie a knot again or something, I have plenty of room to do that. All right, so we have our 2nd string now. We're gonna go ahead and do that same knot. So we're just here, feeding it back through both. That's probably the cleanest I've ever done it. I have the most difficult time demonstrating that. Right here. All right. And so now what we're gonna do is to really create a nice drastic effect, because there's not gonna be too much of an impact right here. We're gonna come down 1 hole underneath where we started our top string. So this is gonna be our 4th sidewall hole. This isn't really having too much of an effect on performance or anything like that. Now what I'm gonna do is, let me go ahead and pull my excess string through, and I definitely gave myself more than enough string. So we're gonna come through our 1st top string hole that we used. We're gonna feed our string right on back. We're gonna situate this 2nd string, okay, on the outside of our 1st string. And now from this position, what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this string back through to the front side and around this 1st string. So it should look just like so. And now we are going to go up that top string hole from the front of the scoop, out through the back of it. Oh my goodness, y'all. Where did I mess up? Timeout. My apologies. We're going to wrap around right here. Then we're going to bring it from the back of the scoop out the front of the scoop. There we go. We all make mistakes. All right. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to utilize this next diamond in a very unusual way that we usually don't do. Wow. I should have majored in English, I know. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna attack this diamond from the top. We're gonna feed it through this part underneath the middle of the diamond and then back up through the opposite side. So that will look, and it's a little bit of a tight space right there, so you're gonna have to feed it through rather aggressively. So we bring it down, and then we're gonna bring it back up. So we should look just like this. And then from this position, we are going to our next top string hole right here, doing that same method. Go ahead and feed it through. From this position right here, go ahead and place it towards the outside. We are then going to wrap it all the way around this time. The first time done correctly. Tight spacing right here. Wrap it all the way around. Put it back through underneath the scoop. Bring it back through the same top string hole from the back side, out through the front side. And this should be correct this time. There we go. I'm demonstrating some confidence in myself. Excellent. Using that same method for that next diamond, which is actually going to be our 5th diamond. So we're gonna attack it again from the top side, going underneath this middle part and then back up through the other side. Soft mesh is good mesh to do this with too, because soft mesh does such a good job of, and this is like not all the way broken in, and it's thicker soft mesh that does a good job of retaining its shape. Whereas if you were to do this with hard mesh, it would start to kind of change its shape up top a little bit. So we just fed it back through underneath like we did through over here, and now we're gonna come back through the front of the scoop, out through the back, keeping it on the outside again. We're gonna wrap it back through and around, going underneath. Our string right here. And then we're gonna bring it all the way around. And then we're gonna bring it from the back of the scoop through the front of the scoop on that same hole. It's starting to get a little crowded in there. They're comfortable, they're tight. And it's nice that these heads have such wide holes up top, and the primary reason for that is to feed leathers through for stringing traditional, and it really works well here for us working our triangle top string. And let's go ahead and tighten this up. And right now, everything could actually be just a tad tighter. So, but we actually are nice and tight at the top, so. All right, time to repeat that same method one last time. So like we said, we're attacking this diamond again, going through, underneath, and back up to the other side. And you're doing this through the same side of the scoop that your string comes out on through your last top hole. So if you're wondering why you're all cockeyed, that could be it. All right, so here we are. Last time again. Last top string hole that we're attacking. Pull all the way through. Pull it nice and tight. Pull it through underneath from the back side to the front side. tighten it up, wrap it around, put it back through. All right. And there we go, y'all. And then from there, we're just gonna go ahead and bring it through and anchor it just like we did when we first started. Oops. I want to make sure that this knot has as much tension as possible. I got quite a bit of extra string right here. So, and it's actually getting in the way. All right. So here is our finished triangle top string. From the front side, from the back side. Notice that as we continue to work down on our side walls, that this right here is going to be a nice tight space. So onto our side walls. Go ahead and cut this string so it's not in our way anymore. Leaving enough to where if I want to go back and adjust anything, I have more than enough room to easily feed through and tie a knot. Now if I were to cut this off down here and this knot were to pull through, or I wanted to undo this knot and then restring it, we'd be in a world of trouble. So we got our royal blue sidewall string, Jimalax, doing our knot. Same knot that we've been doing. Our infinity knot. And now we are about to get to yanking on this soft mesh up here at the top. All right. Little crick in my neck, y'all. I apologize. All right. So, starting to pull down right here, seeing where this diamond can get to in relativity to this sidewall. And man, are my fingers sore right now. All right, so it's looking like we're going to be able to stretch it down to the next sidewall hole underneath where we used our second string to start our triangle top string. I'm looking to see if there's enough room for me to feed this huge string through, and there is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and utilize that same hole up there. So actually I take that back. I don't wanna put too much stress on that. We're going to go the hole underneath it, and we are just going to go ahead and go from the outside of the sidewall to the inside, from the front of the mesh out through the back, and this is our first 10 diamond row right here. Okay, bringing it then again out from the outside of the sidewall, feeding it back through this same sidewall hole, y'all. I got a pretty large sidewall hole here to work with still. Feeding it back through the exact same way to where it's coming from the front of the mesh out through the back of the mesh again. And then we're just gonna go ahead and pull down nice and tight. We should look like that. Hold it down a little bit longer. I've been watching my videos and I see that I don't leave the, I gotta leave a longer still shot of some of these things. Coming back through, the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm hoping that y'all are pausing it. But I will do a better job of holding that frame. Coming back through that same diamond, making sure I don't have any extra strings getting stuck in there, which I did. Pulling down nice and tight. I'm already starting to get a little bit of a fray right here. So what this can do is it can actually mess up the integrity of the string going deeper into it. So you want to make sure that you address that rather quickly, so that way your sidewall string isn't, compromised. All right, continuing our same method of really wanting to create a nice tight top up here, we're gonna go ahead and try and stretch with our finger this diamond down to see how far down we can get it. So we're going to be able to get it down 2 more holes past our last top interlock. And so the interlock that I'm thinking for this one is we're going to go ahead and work a knot on this that we've used before on the channel. So we're going to go from the outside of the sidewall in through the inside, attacking the mesh from the front of this diamond out through the back. So right now, this is what we should look like. From here, I'm actually gonna go back through the space between the sidewall and the sidewall string, and then down through my space right here. Okay, and I'm gonna start to pull. And then the way that I really tighten this nice and tight is I'm gonna grab where there's slack right here. I'm gonna yank down. I'm gonna pull up to get all that extra slack out. And then I'm gonna pull the knot through. And here we go. So we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So first things first, outside of the sidewall, go ahead and pull through. Front of the mesh through the back of the mesh, right here. Back through the sidewall and the sidewall string space, and then down and through. Whoops, pulling a friend with them. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tighten her up. Looking pretty good. Not bad for an old Clutch X 3X. All right, so we still have quite a bit of wiggle room up here, so we still want to go ahead and create a nice tightness up here in the top of our head. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're still pulling down on this diamond, seeing how far we can get it. So we're going to be able to skip one more sidewall hole and work this next sidewall hole. We are going to use that same knot again. So coming through from the outside, from the front of the mesh out through the back of the mesh, back through our sidewall space again. Oops. And then down. Very good. And it's important that you'll see the relationship between this diamond and the sidewall. It's not necessarily sitting outside of the sidewall, okay, or tucked in too much inside of the sidewall. We want to make sure that that is consistent, right? And the reason that we're going with this knot as to opposed to a different type of interlock is because this creates a nice tight pull while still allowing just a little bit of flexibility within the outside of the sidewalls, right? But we still want to make sure this is nice and tight. So we're doing the same thing on the other side, working our way in from the outside of that sidewall. We skipped a hole. So we do have a hole in between our two knots. Coming from the front of the mesh out through the back, feeding it back through this sidewall space right here. Here we go. Excellent. Pretty. Now we can kind of start to see what our pocket's gonna look like a little bit. So we got a nice tight top. I wanna see, so what I'm doing right here is I'm gonna pull down on this diamond. I'm gonna kind of start to shape my pocket to see if I need one more tight interlock down here. And I kind of like the way that that looks. We might go back and change it. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna do one more of those same knots. We're gonna skip a hole again. Taking a risk right here. Pull down. Same way we've been doing it. Flying through it right now with y'all. We're gonna post a video too of just how quick, right, we can string a really exceptionally strung head. So, all right, here we are. So far we've worked 1, 2, 3 knots, right, with a sidewall hole skipped in between each of them. And I think we're at a spot now where we can really start working on shaping our pocket. So you can see that, we've created a really nice, channel shape right here that isn't going to be, all right, y'all. So we just got cut off because my iPhone doesn't have enough storage. So we just deleted a couple of things and we are right back at it real quick. So just wanted to update y'all again where we're at. So we have our 3 knots right here and we are into shaping our pocket. So if you noticed a little bit of a speed up in my voice, is because I want to get this through before we have potential of the video maybe not going all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw in a single going from front to back on each side right here, just to see what this pocket's going to look like. If we do decide to go with that, we're going to pull the strings down nice and tight and we're going to push right here. And I'm liking what I'm seeing, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw that single into place, going from the outside of the sidewall, coming back through just like so. Doing that same thing on the other side. We're gonna go ahead and throw in another single from front of the mesh out through the back of the next 10 diamond row. We're not gonna interlock it down into the sidewall just yet. We're gonna go ahead and do our pull down trick. I'm anticipating a double up here soon, if not right now. We'll see where we're at. So far it still looks like we're getting pretty good pocket depth if we were to go with the single right here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna trust what we see and we're gonna throw in the single. So once again, from the outside of the sidewall, tying it back through and around, stringing heads upside down, all sorts of things. Throwing in another single. Seeing what it's gonna look like. Following the shape of the pocket, following the diamonds. Having a hard time getting this diamond to open up a little bit for me. Shaping that pocket with our hand right here. So I really want to see where this next diamond wants to sit. But I'm liking what I'm seeing right here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna throw this next single in. So we got 3 singles in a row so far. Everything's nice and tight still. So here we are. Y'all can really see the pocket starting to form. We're gonna throw another single in place. Sometimes this can be stupid easy. Sometimes this can be, really difficult. And at the same time, what makes stringing difficult is, really trying to manipulate the mesh to the head in a way that doesn't necessarily, vibe with the head in a good way in terms of just the way that it stretches and the way that it fits. So right now what we're doing is we're just listening to the way that the mesh is being stretched out and the relationship that it has with the sidewalls. So we just threw another single in right there. Pocket's coming together really nicely. Probably at least one more single if I had to guess to kind of shape out and finish the pocket. So before I do it though, I'm gonna go ahead and pull down again just to make sure that everything is where I want it to be. I wanna make sure that the pocket is sitting nice and high, or in the middle of the stick rather. All right. I have a feeling that I might have wanted to double up maybe a little bit higher, which was kind of the urge I was getting. I don't know, but we're gonna trust the way that everything comes out right here. All right. So what I anticipated was an anchor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go from the back of the mesh out through the front. I'm gonna actually attack this next sidewall hole right here. So I'm not gonna go at the very, very bottom. I'm going right into that next one, just to anchor it off right here. Same thing on the other side. I'm not gonna tie my knot yet. I wanna see what my pocket looks like as is. So that way I don't have to take the time to untie a knot. All right, liking what I'm seeing right here. Let's go ahead and knot it off. Our regular overhand knot. Looks good. And this is what I like a lot right here, right? So just kind of replicating, or what we're trying to do is, yeah, replicate the path that which the ball would take coming out of the channel. Really good feel right there. And so we've talked about how we don't like to use sidewall strings for the purpose of sometimes they break the throat. Clutches, notorious for this. A great head. Sometimes in the earlier models, just a weak throat. So we're using a sidewall string, or using a shooting string rather, instead of a sidewall string. What we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and use that 9th row of diamonds for our bottom string, going in through that first string, going all the way across to, or that first diamond, going all the way across to the 4th diamond now, going in from the back of the mesh out through the front, bringing it down through our 2nd bottom hole, starting to work our way back up through our 3rd bottom hole, and we're gonna attack the 6th diamond coming out from the front to back. And then we're gonna, all right, my phone doesn't, 1 gigabyte left, but it doesn't wanna go with me. All right, so we're going through the 9th diamond right here. See if we can get it through without getting cut off by old Apple. And here we are, y'all. Looking really nice. We're gonna go ahead and cut off this excess bottom string right here. All right, come on, man. Every second counts. We're not participating in a very clutch manner. Go ahead and burn the bottom string right here. Notice I move it away from the plastic. Don't want to burn the plastic. And then from here, just go ahead and tie it. I'm using both strings together for my knot right here. And there we go. So we have our Brine Clutch 3X with our triangle top string and our Jimalax soft orange mesh. I appreciate y'all watching. I apologize for our technical difficulties. We will go ahead and we'll make sure that that does not happen again. And like always, we will give this bad boy the field test too. Really happy with how this one came out. This one looks really, really nice. This is a very pretty soft mesh stick right here. The very nice pocket. Really trusted, my instinct and experience of really listening to the, the mesh and the way that it was being stretched out versus me wanting to kind of take over and put it double up a little bit higher to kind of, form a pocket, where I wanted it. I, really let the stick do the talking, and the clutch is just a great head in terms of really having easy pockets to string, pretty pockets to string. But we put really great work into this one. This is a beautiful channel. And until next time.